Good morning. Hi, Christina. You are warm at 78 degrees in Stockholm. Oh my goodness. I know you folks go by the metric system, so just out of curiosity, because I don't have the math in my head. What does 78 degrees Fahrenheit relate to in Celsius? What I do know is 0 in Celsius is 32 degrees in universal, but that's about all I know. Oh, anyway, this morning we are going to be talking about a set of templates that we normally don't talk about. This is a new set of templates. I believe it was last year, or it could have been the year before. Time does have a tendency to kind of blur together. And these are called the stepping out templates. Hi, Jenny. Nice to see you. Last week or the week before, we did the yin and yang stepping out templates. And this is very similar to that, except we're doing different shapes now. Okay. So good morning, Linda and Sandy. Everybody got your coffee? Are you ready for this? Hi, Susie. Good to see you this morning. Awesome. So let's go over what is in our set of templates. Get your ball, Tippy. Get your ball. Okay, in the set of templates, we are going to get 5 templates. And one of those templates is going to be ovals. And here it is. That's the oval. And then we are going to get a bud template. And this is our bud template. And you'll see it has 2 portions to it. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. If you remember the stepping out pillow that I did with the coloring, the Derwent pencils, used this template to make flowers. Good morning, Diana, Brenda. How are you, Regina, my friend? Good morning. I just saw a beautiful, beautiful quilt with flying geese that Regina put together, and she is going to use one of the designs that we discussed at last night's quilt along with Kathy. And I want you to know, Regina, that I am so honored that you like the design enough to want to be using it. Thank you so much. Nan, good morning. And Di is here from Southern California. Um, Nan, just to let you know, I should actually direct this to Jenny. I got a new watch that lets me go on universal or different time zones. So now I can get a couple time zones at once. I know what time of the day it is. But you know what, Nan? I did not know what time it was where you are at. So it's 3 p.m. Your day is getting ready to wind down, and we're just getting ready to get going over here. Okay. So what we've got is this is the stepping out petal template, and this is here in 3 sizes. Get your ball. Get your ball. Go get your ball. It is here in the 1-inch size, and you'll see we have the same um, cutout that we had for the yin and yang, and I'm going to show you how to use these. We have a 1.5-inch stepping out petal, and you'll see that it does have the vertical crosshairs, but there's no horizontal crosshairs in here. And because of the way the templates are made to fit one inside of the other, we don't have to worry about lining up horizontally. Leonie really thought of everything with these. And then we have the 2-inch size. And again, we have vertical alignments, but no need for horizontal alignments. So what we're gonna do is we are going to do one border design with these. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never stitched it out. I've only drawn it out, so I hope I don't fall flat on my face. And if I do, you guys are gonna see it first here. Erin, good morning in Ohio. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Good morning, Sarah. Hope you're feeling better this morning. And Patsy is here as well. Good morning. MW, I haven't seen you in a week or so. Good morning. Nice to see you. Okay, so you all know that, of course, I look at my instructions whenever I get a new set of templates, and this is the little instructions that come with the Stepping Out template set. And this is a sampler set. So that tells me that you can get some of these templates in different sizes. Usually a sampler set is just that, it's a sampling of a larger set. Good morning, Patsy. Oh, and Nancy is here again this morning. Good morning, Nancy. I hope you're enjoying coffee and the outdoors. Sarah is still dizzy. Well, you know what? She's my daughter, so she really was born that way. Oh, good morning, Debbie from Livermore, California. Okay, on this picture that's on the front, it gives you a little idea of some of the things that you can do. And then we're gonna open it up, and what we're gonna see is a whole lot of different things that we can do. One of them being, one of them would be a border. We're gonna do a border that's a little more complicated than this, okay? What's nice, you could do an all over design with these templates, and you know what? They're so easy to do. It's gonna go so quickly, you're absolutely gonna love it. And what else I love is all the different designs put together in a block. Or, you could also do, if you wanted to, you could come free motion and stipple to the next design and go ahead and just throw them in a block randomly. They'll look gorgeous. This can also be done on a crosshair. So we have so many varieties of designs that we can make with these templates. They're going to be a lot of fun. One looks yes, Brenda said one looks like a fig, and you know what? I'm right with you on that. Janice, good morning. Good to see you. And Marcy is here from Spring, Texas, and Spencerport, New York, along the Erie Canal, and I think there's a song about that, is represented by Pamela. Good morning, Pamela. It's so nice to have you here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of clear some of these off here. And you know what I would like to do? I would like to start out with this border idea that I've got. Okay. What I've got is I've got a 4-inch border. I marked the halfway point. Okay. And I'm also going to use my 12-inch arc on this. On this particular one, because I've never stitched it out before, I'm gonna start in the center and move out in 2 different ways. So I'm going to put a full motif in the center, and then we'll go to the right, and then we'll come back, and you can go to the left as well. This is the way I like to do it um, for the first time I stitch it out. And like I said, I've got this one drawn out, but I don't have it stitched out. Linda is here and she saw a coffee bean. I have a feeling you are in need of caffeine this morning, Linda. Hi, Terry. Good to see you. And Sandy's here from sunny Tampa, Florida. Wasn't it thundering in Tampa last night, Sandy? Good morning, Joyce. I'm sorry, Joyce from Mesa, Arizona. Don't worry, we're just getting started. You're fine. Okay, so what I'd kind of like to do here is I want to come up and I want to make some blossoms here. And I am going to make another line here on my border. I've got a 4-inch border, a 2-inch line, and I'm also going to draw in a 1-inch line, okay? Now you'll notice that the inside lines, the half or the 2-inch line and the 1-inch line that I'm putting in are gonna be kind of like dashed. And that means that it's part of the design and it's not one of these seams. Because when I do these designs, I pretend these are seams right here and right here, okay? Then this is the halfway point, and this is a halfway point between these two. And you'll see in a minute why I have chosen to do that. Now, I've got my 12-inch arc out here. You can use any size you wish. You could use a 4-inch to make it more archy? I don't know if that's a word. I Oh, Terry, no, the red poinsettia panels did not come in. They keep telling me they're going to come in a couple of days, and I am still waiting, getting irritated. I'm going to be honest with you. And if I don't see them by the end of this week, I think I'm going to see if I can get them from another distributor. Um, I've really never had this problem with my distributor before, but I wanna get this class going, and so I wanna get those panels in. Good morning, Wanda from up the road. I'm gonna see you in just a little while. And Sylvia's here from California. Kathy, good to see you. Patty is here from Cape Cod. Oh, you're welcome, Terry. Yeah, I've got a note here with your name on it with a red panel. Definitely. I love those panels. Okay, so I just dropped all of my templates, but then again, you guys know that a day will not go by that I have not dropped something. So the first template I'm going to use is the larger petal. This is going to be my 2-inch petal. Okay. Now let me get my ruler back out here. So when we talk a 2-inch petal, unlike our spin effects will have our first rotation will be half of the finished size. However, with these stepping out, what you're going to notice is here is a quarter of an inch, here is a quarter of an inch, and here is 2 inches. So when this is stitched out, my whole petal will be 2 inches, okay? So it's a little different. We want to keep that in mind because in a little while we're going to use it as a spin effects. Good morning, Kim, all the way from San Diego, California. so nice to have you guys here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line this up so that it falls on my 1-inch mark. And this is 1 inch away from the seam. I'm going to turn this so you can more easily see the way I am stitching this, okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put my foot down, pull that bobbin thread up. And we did a very unscientific survey last night of how many people pulled their bobbin thread out, and it was so nice to see. Almost everybody pulls their bobbin thread out, which is such a good practice because if you're doing a quilt as you go block, it's going to keep the back of your block nice and clean and free of thread nests. Okay, so I'm going to just make one rotation here, okay? And off we're gonna go. Take that extra stitch in the tip because we want that tip to be nice and crisp. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna get rid of these threads right now because this is just a practice piece. Okay, and we're gonna come back down. Easy peasy, right? Now what I'm gonna do is lift my foot and move this template up, okay? Now this portion of it is on top of the petal that I just stitched. Word of caution, and I'm gonna show you this. This is a one-way design. So if you flip this template over the other way, it will make two different designs. And I'm going to show you that 1 second. So here I go. And this is one that you do have a little bit of play with here. Not a lot, but you do have a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take this template out and there's my petal, right? Well, let me show you what I'm gonna do to up the, what do I call the uh, oh, no, this one doesn't work that way. Okay, so this is different. Some of the older ones, these would work differently if you turn them upside down, but this one doesn't. Okay, no worries. I'm just still gonna come back down. And you'll see it's not exactly the same. And I'm gonna come out and take my template off, and you see here are the 2 lines of stitching. One I just stitched with my foot along one side and then with my foot along the other side. So now I've got this petal just sticking out there, okay? It's not going anyplace soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to take my 12-inch arc, and I'm going to measure this across here, and now I'm gonna bring myself down to that seam line. And, it's just a very slow, gentle curve. It's just not poker straight, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take some 1.5 inch. Oh my goodness, I need to get caught up here. Marie has come in from Quebec, Canada. Well, good morning, Chris. Good to see you. I tried calling you yesterday. And Bev is here from Dryden, Ontario in Canada. Welcome. So good to have you guys here this morning. Hope you all got your coffee. Okay, so here is my 1.5 inch petal. Whoops. What I want to do is I want to put this 1.5 inch panel or petal coming out, and it can't even be behind the first petal. But the first thing I want to do is I want to stitch up just a little bit. Now, what I should have done but didn't do is I did not grab my 4-inch arc. So I'm going to do that. And where's my arcs? Here they are. I've got big arcs, I've got little arcs, I've got arcs all over the place. I'll tell you, you really can't have too many arcs. I'm just a firm believer in that. So I'm going to grab that arc. The 4-inch arc, when I got my sampler set, my very first set of templates, my 4-inch arc was my nemesis. Me and that arc did not like each other, not one little bit. And I grew to love it. Now I find I use it in probably close to all of my designs. Not as much now as I used to. Okay, so I've got a 3-inch and a 4-inch here. Either one of these arcs is going to work. If you feel more comfortable stitching on an inside curve, you can do that with these arcs. If you don't mind stitching on an outside curve, you can do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stitch out here a little way. And you'll see it's a nice, just a nice curve. Now I'm going to put my 1.5-inch petal in here and I'm going to bring it off to the side. Now I have a couple choices to make here. One of them is to have this petal just kind of graze the petal before. We can do that. Or what we can do is truly make it look like it's coming out from behind the first petal. And to do that, what I did is you'll notice I am over my 1/4 inch here. That's okay. It's good. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna stop when I hit that first petal. Now I'm going to come back down. I'm gonna travel. And I did not do that well. I'm going to go ahead and finish off that petal. I think sometimes part of that is because I'm reaching over a camera and my hands are not really where I want them to be. So I think maybe sometimes that contributes. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to bring my little S curve and we're just going to go ahead and go in on that S curve and come back out. And stop at the bottom of the petal. And now we want to come back to our seam line. So I'm going to put my 4-inch arc back on here and using my spacing gauge, I'm going to bring this back to the center. And there we go. Now, if you want these lines to look more like stems, what we could do, I will show you on this one because I'm going to come out and make another one here. Only this one I'm going to have kind of at a really steep angle. It's going to be kind of a petal or it's going to be one of those that's more mature. It's going to be laying down a little bit. Hi, Bev. Nice to see. Oh, I already said hi to you. Sometimes I just don't even realize it. Thank you, Linda. This is the fun part of ruler work as far as I'm concerned. And I've got my 1.5-inch again. Now I could go ahead and use a different size for each one of these petals. It's okay. You can do that. Okay, round we're gonna go. And having this S curve in here is so cool because we don't have to go halfway, we don't have to go around twice halfway through our design like we do with circles or ovals. Okay, I'm going to come out here. And then I'm going to just change the side that I am using my foot on, and you'll see how beautiful that little inner line comes out. It's symmetrical, but look at how cute that is. It really adds dimension. It really does. I'm gonna bring my 4-inch arc. I'm gonna show you how to use the inside line on the 4-inch arc. Again, lining up the starting point, and we're gonna come down a couple stitches. Now, what I wanna show you here is how real flowers, when you look at them, the top of the stem that connects to the flower is usually thinner than the bottom of the stem. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to start off nice and thin, and then I'm going to use my 4-inch arc to just widen that stem up a little, and I'm gonna get my 12-inch arc out here because now we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna travel down a little bit. Now, this is kind of an organic kind of thing. I want this to represent little flowers. I could come in and put another partial one here too. I think it would look adorable. But time is gonna preclude us from getting too fancy here. The other thing we can do here is use our petal as a leaf, okay? And we could put a leaf coming out from behind. Those are just some of the things we can do. I'm gonna come ahead in this direction because it's easier for you to see when I'm stitching. So now remember, this is our seam line. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch in the ditch along my seam line. If you have a sash lead ruler, this is where you should use it. Okay. And let me, hi, Patricia Jan. So nice to see you. Donna, you're here too. How awesome. You guys, it's so great to see you. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come here and okay, sash. I'm going to find the sash. Yeah, there it is. I want to put a um I want to put a link here for you so that you can get to this Ashley, and it just takes me a second because I'm here alone. I can't figure out why nobody wants to get up in the morning and come help me. Hi, Carol. Oh, so we're gonna paste that and we're going to hi, Ernestine. Nice to see you. So there is a link to the sash lead template. That is one that should be in everybody's toolbox. Okay, so now I've got my first little bunch of flowers put in, and I'm going to do the second bunch of little flowers. And I'm going to bring my line, and this is a curved line that I'm doing, okay? So I'm gonna bring it, you'll see I've got it pointing out. This time I'm gonna have it pointing in. I'm gonna do it the opposite. The reason I like to do it this way is this is representation of flowers, and it's very organic. So the nice thing, you don't have to worry about everything being matchy-matchy. This is something you don't want to be matchy-matchy, okay? Don't know if matchy-matchy is the word, but if it is, good, I used it. If it isn't, well, we just made it up. Mary Lou Irish. Good morning from New York. Evelyn Johnson here. Suzanne, thank you so much. Goodness, I appreciate your kind words. So here I've got the 1-inch pedal. I'm going to go ahead and make one rotation. Come on. I've got my foot on sideways. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I did. So I'm going to make a complete rotation. Then we're gonna come and put our S curve in there. Gonna come up and right to the top and back down. And I got a little sticky in there, but that's okay. If you have a little sticky spot, what I've done in the past, and it works really well, is just take an emery board and file down that little spot ever so gently and ever such small increments, okay, and keep testing it because you certainly don't want to go off the rails with that. And here is my spacing gauge. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to make the bottom of this stem just a little thicker than the top. And now I'm going to travel over to where the stems are going to meet. That's the one thing I kind of did the same in each one is I went ahead and had each of the stems meet in approximately the same place. You don't need to do that. If you want, you can just go ahead and stitch down between each one of the petals. Now what I want to show you is how we're going to do a bud. Okay, so we're going to use our stepping out bud. It is 1.5 inches. So the premise of this, whoops, I need a stem first. So I'm going to take my 4-inch arc and you see I am just randomly placing it here. I do not have a inches marked out or a specific guideline because again, this is organic. We're going to face this with the wide side out. I'm going to put it with the wide side towards you for stitching. It's a great idea though, especially because we're working on a border, to be able to stitch in this direction where you have the quilt on your left-hand side and just the outside of your border on the right-hand side. As you can see here, my throat is very small. So I cannot fit a full quilt in here while I'm stitching around the border, but I can go all the way around and stitch like this without any problem. Okay, so I'm going to move this so you can see better. Again, we don't have to have any particular lineup. I may want my bud to come out um, kind of flopping over on the stem. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to twist it. We are making a curve, so we want to keep those stitches just a little bit shorter. Remember, our machines cannot skip or cannot stitch in an arc. They can only stitch in a straight line. The other thing they cannot do is stitch without bobbin thread, and I just ran out. Okay, but this kinda gives me an opportunity to show off my Sew Steady. This is the small grid glider, and I have it on my 301. So what I wanna show you is how easy it is to change that bobbin without having to remove the table. Out it comes. We'll get the new one. I try to always have an extra handy. And when I'm doing samples or practice, a lot of times what I like to do is use up partial bobbins. So if I have a project that I have some of the bobbin thread left, and I'm probably not going to use it in the near future for a project, I will go ahead and I will use it up in this manner. And I find that that works very well. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to replace this template and keep going. I also knocked my foot up, so let's go ahead and reset that. And it needs to be done just there we go. Perfect. So now I'm not going to worry about my template being set up yet. I am going to bring my bobbin thread up. I'm gonna make sure you guys get a good close look at this. Where I'm doing is I'm putting it down right here, not here where the last stitch ended, because you'll see that kind of sticks up and is gonna leave a little bit of a thread tail. So I'm gonna come to the stitch before, and I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to finish my rotation. I'm gonna put my foot down and place it cautiously, optimistically, carefully, exactly where I left off. This is where our spacing gauge comes in real handy. You're gonna see I'm off just a little bit in that direction, and I wanna do the top too because I don't wanna be off when I hit the bottom of the template. Hold those tails back, like to take one stitch in place here. Whoops, and I just totally came off of the template. That's no problem because it's just a practice piece anyway. So I want to take this off and show you guys. You'll see right here, that's where I fell right off the template. I'm not worried about it. Now, if this were a real project, I would go ahead, take these and bury them. And when you do, I just cut them off and you can tell that you really cannot see where the bobbin thread ended and I'm sorry, the thread break ended and began again. Okay, now I am going to put my bottom section in, and remember, this is the bud template, not the petal template. So this particular one has a totally different look to it. And when we bring this down, what it's going to show us, and I think this is so cool, is this is going to show us our flower that has not opened yet. Is that beautiful? Love this. Okay, and out we go. Awesome. Isn't that cool? I know I get excited about simple things. uh, oh, Jan asked a great question. Janice, good morning from Massachusetts. Jan says, I have a lot of bobbins like that, but they're not 40 weight. Can I use them with 40 weight? Jan, the answer to that is a resounding yes. I do different bobbin weights a lot, and it does not cause my machine any trouble. Not saying everybody's machine is going to be as easy as mine, but definitely go for it. Try it, make sure it works for you. Okay, so now I want to get back to the beginning. So I'm going to again take my 4-inch arc and I'm going to take my spacing gauge and just make it a little bigger on the bottom than it is on the top. And we're going to come back down to the line. Now, if you want, you can just leave this at this, or you can put more in. This is one that's entirely up to you. You are going to design it as you go along. and it's going to be gorgeous. I'm gonna go ahead and take that out now. And there is our little border design, okay? And what you're gonna see is it's so much fun to do just whatever you want and not be have any, constrictions to rules or instructions or anything like that. You just make it your own. So that is the first thing we can do with our stepping out templates. I use the stepping out bud 1.5 inch. I use the stepping out petal, the 1 inch, the 2 inch, and the 1.5 inch that has run away from me. Oh, here it is, 1.5 inch. So there is something that you might notice. On my templates, I have marks on them, okay? And it's just a vis-a-vis marker, and I just placed a little X on them. The reason that I did that is because I was working on a project, I wanted everything to be exactly the same. So I came down on this S curve and back up on this side because as you saw in here, if we come down on one side and back up on the other side, it's going to be off by a little bit. Normally, not the end of the world, but for this particular project I was doing, I did want them all identical. This one, I came down on one side like this, turned it over, and then came back on the other, and that gave us a really, really nice little design shot in the arm there. And don't forget the butts, okay? So let's go ahead and see if there's any questions on this one. Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely, Nan. No problem. No problem at all. We do videotape these so you can watch them later. Bless your heart. It is not easy being a caretaker. It really isn't. So Suzanne says she loves this. Um, you know what? I do too, quite honestly. I really think it's cute. If you had a floral quilt, this would be a really nice border on it. Okay, so the other thing that I want to show you is that we can use these as a spin effects type design. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to line things up, use my chalk aligner, of course, and make, I think, 8 rotations this time. You can do 16, but I'm just going to do 8. Okay. And I'm going to back you up a little bit. There we go. There. And what size should we use? Let's go ahead and use the large one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these beautiful vertical lines to line everything up in. Okay, there we go. Pull that bobbin thread up and put that down. You'll notice even when I'm practicing, I do pull that bobbin thread up because I want that to be a habit. To me, that's important that it is a habit. Okay, so this is my 2-inch petal. Whoops. I'm going to come around, hesitate at the top here, making my stitches a little smaller because it's an arc, not taking my hands off of the template. Oops, but I am going to cut these threads off because this is a sample and I just wanna get them out of your way. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop here. I'm going to pull this up. Now remember the X I marked before? On this particular design, I can choose to just go on one side and they will be symmetric. Or I can choose to go on the other side and they may just give me a little bit different look on them. Okay, so we're going to come all the way up. Now we're going to come back to center, traveling over the line we just did and ending up back at our center point. I'm going to go ahead, lift that up, and we're going to do a second rotation. What is fun is seeing what your designs end up looking like. Sometimes they don't have the same look that you imagine in your mind. And my extra stitch on top, back down, meeting in the center. Up we go. And again, bringing it all the way to the top. And I'm going to stitch to the end and stitch back to the center. What you're going to find is most times with this template, you don't have to double stitch anything, and that's always a good thing. It really is. Let me see how we're doing here. Marcia, good morning. Susie says she sees another template in her future. I know, right? I did post a link to the template up higher in the discussion area, and I will post another one here in a minute. There we go. And back down. Now, this is our 2-inch template. This is the larger one. And remember, it's 2 inches from here to here, unlike our spinifex, which would be one side of a design would be half of the size of the finished template or finished design. And back down to center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change templates because I really want you to see the difference in sizes. And this one is our 1.5 inch, so that's our next size smaller. And we're going to line that up again using this back line. Whoops. There we go. There we are. Using our back line here and our front line here. And a drink of caffeine. Good morning, Jean. How are you from Mount Vernon, Washington? You are up early. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a rotation with the 1.5 inch. Oops, come on, you. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring that up. Now, on this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch I'm going to hug this side of the template to come up to the tip, and I'm going to hug this side of the template to come back to the center. Okay. And this is where we get that beautiful echo feel across our template, across our design. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. I think it's just classic and it's classy and So unlike me. Okay, here we go. Here's another rotation we're gonna do. I would yeah, I've never used like 16 reference lines with this template. I'm not sure I would. And I'll tell you the reason why is because with these center veins in them, and that's what it looks like as a center vein, I personally think it would get too busy. This time I'm going to go back on the same side and back to center. There we go. We'll do one more. And then we'll do a couple with the smallest sizes. This is the one thing I tend to forget to move the template down so that I get the petal shape in here first. Again, this is the stepping out petal, 1 1/2 inch. And one complete rotation on the petal is 1 1/2 inch. So if you do this in a spin effects manner such as this, your entire motif is going to be 3 inches, not 1 1/2, but 3. Okay, and we're going to come up all the way and all the way back. Back to our center. Now I'm going to put in our 1 inch. Okay, so here we go. Whoops, grabbed the wrong one. I was going to put the 2 inch in. Okay, here we go. This is 1 inch. This is a great size when you're dealing with little spaces. There we go. This actually, I believe, is the same yeah, I think our mini spin effects come in 1 and 2 inch. Well, I think it's 1 1/2 and 2 1/2. So it's even smaller than our mini spin effects. Okay, and we're off there, and we're gonna come back in. I'm gonna show you one extra little thing here on the next one. I know it's gonna be kinda dorky, but you know what? That's me. I'm kinda dorky, and I'm okay with that. And, hopefully that the girls from town here are not gonna be are not, going to end up being, disappointed. Susie has a new grandson. Congratulations. That is so exciting. Oh, that is amazing. And yesterday was Regina's granddaughter's birthday. So you'll always be able to remember the day. That's awesome. New babies, they're so precious. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. I've only come halfway up. You could do this in this manner. I'm going to show it to you in this manner, but you could do it by doing the whole rotation and coming up here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to twist my template, and I am going to do the S curve, just like that. Now I am going to twist it again. This is silly. It's gonna look like a Martian or something, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and go up once on it. You'll see I've got a little bit of a hitch in this template, but it's not a problem. We can work around that. And I'm gonna come a third time. Again, I'm not measuring. This is just very organic, okay? And there is my third. I put 3 in because I didn't want it to look like my favorite Martian. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to line things back up, and we're gonna come back to center. Now, if you want, and I'm going to, you can go ahead and still put that S curve in the center. There we go, and back to center. And off it's going to come. So, we could do this little Toogamahooger. How's that for a technical tune? Toogamahooger. But what I really wanted to show you on this, here, these are the 1 inch right here. This is the 1.5 inch, and this is the 2 inch. So you really do have a large variety of sizes, which is absolutely awesome. Now, the one thing we haven't looked at or talked about is our stepping out ovals. So we're going to do a couple of these, and I am going to go ahead and do them in a spin effects manner, which means I'm going to line up the vertical center lines. But first, I'm going to go ahead and take my bobbin thread and pull it up. Okay. Okay, so Susan said, oh my goodness, what a great idea. Susan said, if you put bottom petals on, then use the thingamybobs, love your vernacular, Susan, to make it look like a hibiscus. And you know what? It certainly would look like a hibiscus. What a great idea. Ah, awesome. You guys definitely come up with some great things. My son doesn't Susie said she would like to post a picture, but her son does not allow it, and she respects that decision. Susie, I really think it's a good decision. It's fun to watch pictures of our grandkids and nieces and nephews and everybody else grow up. But sometimes I think we put them too much out there, and that can be dangerous in this world, and sad. It's very sad that it is, but it certainly can. Or if you're gonna post pictures, by all means, don't post names along with it. Okay, so here is my oval. I'm gonna do the first oval, the larger of the 2. Gonna come around and stop where I began. I'm going to adjust that foot, and I'm going to bring this up. Now, this is going to be quite interesting, isn't it? But I love it. It's an oval within an oval. Now, if you wanted to be real tricky, okay, let's get real tricky here this morning. I've had more caffeine than I probably should have, and that's gonna make me wanna do things I probably am better off not doing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to place my stepping out petal 1 inch. I am going to stitch that center S curve and come back out. And here we go, back out. Okay? Now, the purpose for this is nothing more than to keep it consistent with these guys over here, because it's a totally different design. It's one I really love, but it is totally different. So we can tie it in by simply putting one of our S curves into our oval. Okay, come back here. Keep this close at hand. Oh, thank you, Christina. Oh, Nan talks about Swedish strong coffee. Um, I don't know if I could handle that, Nan. Okay, I'm gonna make sure we're in the center here. And we're gonna go ahead and make another oval. And I did not keep my stitch length shortened with this oval, and I can really tell. You'll see it looks a little choppy up in here because my stitches got too long. But you know what? That's why I practice. That will happen. So it's better to happen now than to happen on a quilt that I am quilting for someone. Okay, and here we go. This is the inside oval. We're going to measure these because I'm not really sure what the measurements are on them. Or does it say? No, it does not say. So we'll go ahead and measure them in a second, okay? Now, I had it facing this way before, so I'm going to do that again. And we'll come back to center. And there we go. I'm going to take the time to put one more on, okay? I hope I'm not boring you to tears. Because one of the things I want to show you is that this is just as easy to stitch this template in this orientation as it is to go ahead and turn the fabric each time. I guarantee you there will be times you cannot turn the fabric because your machine throat is too small or because it's just so heavy it's near impossible to turn it. Okay, there. Everything was about to hit the floor, guys. Okay, and around we're gonna go. Here's my third oval. And come right back to center there. Whoops, my thread got caught. No worries, it's okay. Now we're gonna put this in. We're going to line up those vertical lines. There we go, nice and lined up. And again, I'm going to stay on the side that I marked. There we go. Okay. So now if you have additional ovals, what you can do is you can come in and echo these. Okay. I don't have my ovals out or I would show you that. But another thing you can do if you want to fill this design out a little bit more is you can go ahead and rather than just do 8 lines, do your 16 lines. Then you can come in and put your larger oval on the even numbered lines. I have to stop and think which are even, which are odd, because I do like to use that vernacular a lot. It's just easier to understand and follow, I think. Okay. Of course, me thinking can be dangerous. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna come in and I am gonna connect these guys right here. Now, I have some choices to make. And those choices are, do I want to break thread or do I want to travel? I'm going to travel. Normally, would I? No, normally I would break thread. But what I'm going to do is remember this is the same size as this oval that we put down here. So I'm just going to test all the 1/4 inches and it works. I'm going to stop. I did not put an arrow on here, but what you'll notice is I'm going to stop just above this inside oval. So it's going to be right about there. So let's go ahead and let's travel. Take your time. Keep going. Don't stop. There we go. And right about there looks like the right spot. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to remember, I don't have lines here either, so I may not be following them just perfect. And I'm going to come down just a little bit. And I think I got this one up a little higher. It's okay. It doesn't matter. And there's another way to add just a little more embellishment to the design. There we go. After looking at this, I 99.9% sure I would not travel here. Okay. I think it just looks top heavy and mm, I think it's a lot more polished when it's finished off like this. Hi, Kathy. I never bore you. Yeah, you know what? I have some friends that say the same thing, but I'm not sure that they say it in a good way. Oh my gosh. Oh, guys, what do you think? What do you think? Here is some of the stuff that we covered this morning. There is a whole lot more to this. These are fun templates. I especially like the border. I'm not sure why, but um I am stalling before heading up to your machine. Yeah, I get that, Kathy. Sometimes I do the same thing. I have been on a border kick lately. So while we're here, before I let you go, I mean, obviously you can go if you want. I'm not going to make you stay. But what I want to do is show you how we would turn the corner with this particular border design, okay? That seems to be the biggest question, and I am working on a Zoom class that will show us how to turn borders with the border template set, and I've got some new and interesting border patterns for you as well. Okay, so we're gonna come along here and we're stitching in our ditch, okay? And this is where we need to turn. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make that turn and then come back to that corner. There's our turn, and we'll come back to the corner. So for this particular design, turning the corner is a piece of cake, okay? Literally is a cakewalk here. So what I might want to do is I might want to go ahead and put lines in there, but knowing me, I'd rather not because I just would prefer to wing it. I like winging things. Okay, so here I'm going to, whoops, first things first, I almost forgot. I'm going to put a little bit of a stem here. Now I've come up a little bit that way. I can take and now go back in the other direction here, and you see what a nice soft curve that's going to be. I'm going to put my 1.5-inch petal in, make it just like that, and we're going to stitch a rotation with our petal. Okay, and now we're going to bring the S curve up and we're going to stitch away and into the top. And when we hit the top, we're going to come back. Now, there we go. Okay, so that's just one. We want more than one in here. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to come this way a little bit. This time, we're going to travel and we're not going to come all the way to the bottom of the petal here, okay? We're going to come part way, just that looks good. And then I'm going to have my stem come out in this direction. And I'm going to get my itty bitty one. Well, I'm going to have to find it. There it is. They never go too far away, but sometimes it takes a while for me to find them. My desk tends to get a little messy. Okay, so here we're going to do another one. And I'm going to put my S curve in. Now, if you want to, you don't have to stitch all the way up. You can just stitch part way up as well, and you'll see how pretty that looks. It actually reminds me of a leaf as opposed to a flower petal. Isn't that cool? So now we're going to come down, and just for the sake of time, I'm going to just free motion travel here. Now, if you like to free motion, one other thing you can do is come up here, put a little swirl in here, and come back down. Maybe put one here, just a little one. And back into the corner. Okay, and that, ladies, is how we will turn a corner with this design. Okay, so there is our border, and I'm going to pull you back so you can appreciate all of it. There we go. And there it is. Hi, Linda. United Arab Emirates. Beautiful, beautiful place. Beautiful place. Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry to hear that. Fortunately, it's I'm sure they've done 100,000 of them, you know. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad you like that. So that's what I've got for you this morning. Thank you, Patsy. Um, I hope that I've been able to teach something, and I have let me get back here. I am going to do this. I want to go ahead and give you that link one more time to this set of templates. Yes, Donna, you are absolutely right. It would work great with a fatter border. You can put a whole bouquet in there. Hi, Danielle. Susie, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that so much. MW, thank you so much. Pamela, you as well. I appreciate you guys getting out of bed and coming in here to listen to me drone on for an hour in the morning. I really do. Remember, like, subscribe, share. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Please feel free under the instructor page. I have my mugshot is there. And if you click on my name under the education tab, you will find me and you can learn a little bit about me as if you guys all know me well enough already anyway. But there also is a place for you to leave comments, and that's really important to me. I like getting your comments, and please let me know what you want to see in the future too, because this really is for you guys. I Oh, well, it's as much for me as it is you because I just love doing this. It's a lot of fun, and I love spending my time with you all. And good, Susie. I'm glad you've got some good ideas. So, if we don't have any more questions until we meet again, remember Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. So until we meet again, let's quilt.